Hi, and welcome back to another Dwarven Tavern video. I am your host, and we are actually your hosts. I am not the lord and master of this establishment,
but you are.
But I am. But I am Dr. Jeff Goins, and with us in the tavern
I'm Chuck.
I am Lyric.
And we decided that we were going to have a little talk with y'all about
Your recent indiscretions.
recent indiscretions. No, we're going to talk to you about alignment, which might have something to do with recent indiscretions.
Well, we've mentioned it several times in previous videos, kind of an offhand thing. Like with the Fae videos, we talked about how Fae creatures tend to go against their alignment and change their alignment as freely as they want to.
Also called capriciousness.
So we wanted to talk to you a little bit about why alignment is not only important, but also how it can be interpreted other than what's set in stone, like chaotic evil.
Right.
And how it doesn't necessarily mean chaotic maliciousness.
Doesn't mean murdering babies and
right.
children and stuff.
And it's really weird. And one of the other reasons that I think that that role playing is such a deep and philosophical experience, if you dig into it, because it's about subjectiveness. Okay, take for example wolves and deer, right? Both neutral in so far as game terms go. And I'm not talking about dire wolves or wolves that are, evilly aligned.
Just regular wolves.
Just regular, run-of-the-mill, out in the woods, eating your face off wolves.
The normal type.
The normal type. To the wolf cub, the mother wolf is nurturing, giving, providing, regurgitating, angel. Right?
I don't think wolves do that.
They do, actually.
Everything regurgitates.
Well, that's a really good point. But they eat. That's why they call wolfing it down, because they wolf down their food and then they take stuff back.
Oh yeah,
and they vomit some of it up for the babies.
Yeah.
And
it's a good topic.
That's how we fed you for the first 6 months of your life.
Oh, that makes sense.
However, to the deer, the wolf is a freaking night demon. Right, because it's subjective. Good and evil in the real world are very subjective. What one person thinks is they're doing the right thing, they might be absolutely, because everybody has enemies, right? All of you and all of us, we all have enemies and we all have friends, and banes. And banes. That's right, and saviors. So good and evil are, in my opinion, in the real world, actually not existent. There is maliciousness and there is benevolence, and that can be construed as good and evil if you choose. Mm-hmm. But in the gaming world, we have the 9 alignments, right? And it would be real cool if we had like an overlay of this in the middle of the screen. We've got right here neutral. Okay, then up here we have law. Then down here we have chaos. But down here we have chaos. Okay, and then
down here we have MA.
And then we've got good, and then we've got way over here we've got evil, and then you've got neutral good, you've got chaotic good, then over here you've got neutral evil and chaotic evil.
Your diagram is all this.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm sorry, but maybe the good and evil can be reversed in the top. So
that's going to be a hell of a time to animate that.
Yeah.
Literally gonna do is this.
Yeah, we got.
But it's got to be
good,
reversed, don't you?
neutral, and okay. Anyway, I think I'm somehow detracting from the overall.
You have the 9 alignments.
You have the 9 alignments. It's good, evil, law, chaos, and neutrality. And good and evil can be prescribed as either lawful or chaotic, and then even neutral can be lawful or chaotic, neutral. Yeah, one of my favorite, but one of the hardest character classes alignments to play, just because you have to be not really crazy, but you have to be erratic. You can and a lot of Fae strike me as being chaotic neutral. But lawful good, and all of them are very, very difficult to play true to their type. But what are they? What is lawful good to you?
Lawful good would be a person who abides by the rules to that benefit everybody, or as many people as possible. It would be a paladin or a cleric, or they're selfless, but they also abide by whatever law is in that area, whether it's a written law or the laws of nature or the laws of gravity, as long as it is something that that is set in stone. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Screw gravity.
So it's you can do that. I'm lawful good.
I'm lawful good.
So a lawful character has to abide by the rules that are set in stone that have been provided for that character, if they are good.
So whether it's the laws of the land, the laws of nature, some internal law, like the laws of chivalry,
right,
and the knights, they obey.
Or the Ten Commandments.
right, exactly. They obey the law.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be like judicial law. It doesn't have to be set up by the government, which I think a lot of people get. Right. Like they expand the idea of law.
It's a code of ethics.
Yeah, and it can be for example, Agathan. He's not lawful good. He's lawful neutral, and he obeys the law of his monastery, which is do unto others as you want done unto you.
Punch unto others as you would kick unto yourself.
And the whole reason he's not good is because he knows for a fact that sometimes you cannot decipher between the two. So that's his
own
whole other alignment.
Another can of worms.
So lawful good to me is when a character abides by the law. In short, what I said, the first sentence I said, abides by the law of whatever he's lawful to, as long as it benefits the most people as possible. Peaceable as possible.
Peaceable as possible.
Peaceable as possible. So that includes knowing that evil characters are going against that law and therefore they must be vanquished, which is the whole paladinic idea.
Okay. So, considering something now here is a really interesting thing, and it didn't exist very long because the dude was totally a troll, and you know how we feel about trolls here at the tavern. There was a time when we had two paladins who were legitimate paladins. They still had their paladin license, I guess. I don't know. They were
licensed.
Yeah, they had their license to hack, and they fought to the death in one of our campaigns. And somebody said that it was the stupidest thing they had ever heard of because they could not imagine, key term here, they could not imagine how any two true paladins could fight to the death.
Well, there's so much that can go into that. It's what are the paladins of? Who do they follow? Who do they follow?
They were both following Paylor.
What about the lords that they follow?
Yeah.
And there can be two, just using real life deities. You can have two priests of the same religion in real life, and they can, hate each other, but they preach the exact same thing.
Right.
It happens in everyday life.
So instead of saying that because you can't imagine it, that it is therefore stupid, which is just about the truest testimony to one's own lack of imagination. If you can't imagine it, try expanding your mind a little bit. There are, a lot of different reasons why two lawful good characters could in fact hate each other and try and kill each other and successfully do so while still remaining honorable and true to their religion and their law.
Right, because the laws of those gods, or even real like judicial laws, could be interpreted in different ways.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Kelsian was the paladin in the fight. He was becoming a saint for his god. He was becoming a mortal man, a mortal word is that was going to come out of my mouth. A follower.
Bowling for Paylor.
he was going to be a speaker of Paylor, that he could go spread the word and also fight for him and take care of all the evil. And the other paladin, I believe, was saying you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because you can't be that's selfish. You can't.
Right, and they
get
had
on that mission.
So what it equated to was that the paladin was accusing Kelsian of being selfish, and even though he still remained a paladin, he was still a paladin. He was being accused of being selfish and not righteous, and etc. And they basically did a trial by combat.
Yeah.
To prove which one of them was right, and the one who won, of course, was Kelsian, because. And it was a very honorable fight, and the knight who died, before he took his last breath, he admitted he was wrong. And
his head was cut clean off.
Oh.
Because it was
so it kind of nodded.
As it rolled.
It was a jousting match, and he cut his head clean off. Because he went Paylor!
Paylor, double 20.
And we had an angel messenger who would come down and tell us what the gods wanted us to do every now and then. And the angel messenger said, I have a specific message for Kelsian, and it was from the paladin that he had fought, and the paladin said, you're right, I was wrong, and you really are a paladin, and if I were still alive, I would be your follower.
Right.
And he brought cheesy bread.
It looks like our servers here with cheesy bread and or pizza. By the power of Little Caesars. We're going to eat this, and then we'll be back. Okay, so that pizza was good and gone now. So after we talked about the paladins and the pursuit of the greater good, sometimes at the sacrifice of oneself, which is really kind of the
the whole thing.
What is the word? I cannot even. So if you're a paladin, greater good. There you go.
Well, I mean, to be good is to be selfless. So for for someone to be self-sacrificing, that is the epitome of being a good person.
Yeah, and there was a all my words. I ate my words as well as the pizza. There is a maxim among those who follow, the whims of good and evil, and I think it was placed in an old Dragon magazine at one point in time. It said that good is its own reward, where evil feeds on itself. And those two might seem very similar, but that's how it is, because when you give to the universe, in the real world, when you give to the universe gives back sometimes more than you put in. So the more effort you put into something, the more you get out of it. And that would be considered good.
Right.
Whereas evil, if you just take and take and take and never give, then it always seems like you're wanting more, and you're always empty and hollow.
It's never enough.
And it's never enough, and that's evil, as they say. So, lawful evil.
Ask him this time.
Is he lawful evil?
Yes.
Is he okay. So, do you play? Is any of your characters lawful evil?
None of my characters are.
I know I don't play any evil characters.
I can't think of any.
We're too holy.
We're too nice to play evil characters.
Well, I mean, a lawful evil would be. Oh, give me an example. What is a lawful evil character?
That would be like an assassin of Not the Nazgul, Nerol.
Nerol.
Yeah, like
a Nerulian assassin.
Yeah, or.
So it's somebody that does.
Someone who follows the the laws or uses the law
For their own gain?
For their own gain.
So politicians.
Yeah, you could consider politicians lawful evil because they use the letter of the law for their own benefit.
Or lawyers.
Lawyers, that would be another good lawful evil example. Because if they're using the law for their own gain, so it's selfish and selfless. Mm-hmm. That is the credo, I guess, of good and evil.
No, I don't have a character like that.
Yeah. I don't think any of us do.
I think they're mostly chaotic or neutral.
But if you're lawful evil, it's using law to propel your own agenda. It's more like a lawmaker who's doing it for the wrong reason, which leads us to the thought of just one way. The
it leads us to a thought that's somewhere in the future.
Somewhere I am not. Law and evil is wow, that really went away, and it took most of what was left with it. Good, lawful good is someone who obeys the law for the greater good of humanity or elf-manity.
Even if it puts themselves on the line or they die in the process. If it's
like more of an honor to die for your
like a
cause.
Like a cop in the real world.
Yeah.
Or most cops.
Yeah, a lot of cops. I would say the vast majority.
Or firefighters or somebody like that.
I think firefighters would be the greatest example of them putting themselves in that's the lawful good.
Right.
The laws are human life is important. Fire needs to be put out.
Right. And it, just like in 911, everybody was running out of the building and the firemen were running in. That is like the pinnacle of a real world example of lawful good.
Yeah.
So
I'm getting all sentimental.
Yeah, I know, right? It was tragic, but so heroic.
Right.
Our characters could only dream of a death like that.
Right.
That noble. That it was like my character King Arthur. He was like. All the characters were here and they were wounded and tired, and I don't know if you guys were in that one or not.
No.
That session, but all the other characters were. Tired and wounded and depleted of like ammunition and stuff, and I had a character. He was like a golem, like a Promethean, that was brought over to 3.5 from the Prometheans from White Wolf, and his name was King Arthur, and he was this big Frankenstein type dude, and this thing that couldn't be killed was following and tracking them very slowly, and it finally caught up with them because they were trying to rest. And I got to say, "You go on, I'll hold it off," with every intention of dying in that thing. But I killed it, and I came back. It's like, yeah, I killed it. But I had every intention of dying.
I have a feeling that that's how Akathan is going.
He probably will.
Because he's got his heart is set on giving himself to the laws of nature and just letting it happen how it's going to happen. But 100% he's probably going to live through that.
He'll live through it.
And be like, yeah, I got to go find another mission.
I got to go martyr myself elsewhere. But yeah, that was
I mean, that kind of ruins the point of a character trying to be selfless, because if they're just doing it for the honor of what's going to happen after they die, then that's kind of defeating the purpose.
But I did give them the chance to get away, and they made it. They didn't have to fight that enormous blob of techno mess, but
right.
It was really cool because I finally got to say that, and of course I didn't want to die, and,
right.
And when I killed it, I'm like, oh, All right.
I mean,
So
Pyre. Sorry to interrupt you, but I have one more example. But Pyre is a lawful good character, and she is extremely selfish. She actually has died trying to bring people back to life, but her thing is that she comes back to life too.
Right.
So
She has no fear of death because...
Well, she does, because she doesn't know if that time she dies is going to be the last time. She still fears it because it's an unpredictable power.
Right.
So, but she actually was she was decaying as she was alive, trying to save another creature because she knew it was good, even though it was trying to kill them.
Yeah.
So that's lawful good.
Yeah.